sewn into a dress for his girlfriend before asking for her hand in marriage. Fact 6. The Code of Hammurabi is a well-preserved Babylonian law that dates all the way back to 1772 BC, which had progressive laws in it such as minimum wage and the right to be a free man. It was written well before the Bible. Fact 7. In the novel Forrest Gump that the movie was based upon, Forrest goes into space with NASA, but upon returning he crash lands on an island full of cannibals and only manages to survive by beating the head cannibal every day at chess. Fact 8. There is a secret McDonald's menu item that you can order which is a McChicken in the middle of a double cheeseburger. Fact 9. A hacker group named UG Nazi once took down Papa John's website because the company was 2 hours later than expected in delivering their food. Fact 10. The world's largest privately constructed nuclear fallout shelter is the Ark 2. It began being built in the 1980s by Bruce Beach, just north of Toronto. It's 10,000 square feet and is composed of 42 school buses mixed with concrete, runs on internal generators and has its own chapel, decontamination room and radio station. Fact 11. Lamborghinis, Bentleys and Aston Martins are all used as police cars in Dubai. Fact 12. A prince in Abu Dhabi spent $2.5 million to create a Mercedes-Benz with a V10 engine with 1,600 horsepower that goes 0 to 100 in less than 2 seconds running on biofuel. Fact 13. Instead of using spray cans, some artists create semi-permanent images on walls or other places by removing dirt from a surface. It's known as reverse graffiti or clean tagging. Fact 14. There's a Turkish artist named Ezref Armagan who is blind, yet taught himself to write and paint and has been doing so on his own for the last 35 years. Fact 15. Aerogel, also known as frozen smoke, is one of the world's lowest density solids, being made up of anywhere from 95 to 99% air. It's almost impossible to see or feel, but can support 4,000 times its own weight. Fact 16. There was a golden-haired Tibetan Mastiff puppy which sold for 12 million yen, or $2 million, making it the most expensive dog in the world. Fact 17. Unlike many other members of the cat family, tigers actually enjoy water and can swim well. They often soak in streams or pools of water to cool off. Fact 18. Oreo Leos are a type of cereal that's exclusively available in South Korea. Fact 19. It was discovered in 2008 that a 56-year-old crime reporter named Vlado Daneski, who was reporting on gruesome murders, was the serial killer himself. Fact 20. When a person lies, they experience an increase in temperature around the nose, known as the Pinocchio effect. Fact 21. In the 1980s, a man known only as George, who had severe OCD, shot himself in the head. Instead of the bullet killing him, it destroyed the part of the brain that was causing the OCD, and he went on to get straight A's in college 5 years later. Fact 22. Henry Ford was the first industrial giant to give his workers both Saturday and Sunday off, in hopes they would encourage more leisure use of vehicles, hence popularising the concept of the weekend. Fact 23. Contrary to popular belief, cracking your bones doesn't hurt your bones or cause you arthritis. It's simply the gas bubbles bursting that you hear. However, doing it too much does cause tissue damage. Fact 24. The reason Lego heads have holes in them is so air can pass through them if a child ever swallows one. Fact 25. If your eye was a digital camera, it would have 576 megapixels in them. Fact 26. Scientists have costume as Captain Jack Sparrow after she wrote asking the pirates help her stage a mutiny against her teachers. Fact 63. Bob Marley was buried with his red bison guitar, a Bible open to Psalm 23, and a bud of marijuana. Fact 64. Papophobia is the fear of the Pope. Fact 65. In the original version of The Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen, Ariel doesn't marry the prince. She actually marries someone else and she dies. Fact 66. Tigers, jaguars and cheetahs are attracted to the cologne Obsession by Calvin Klein. Fact 67. In 2012, a 63-year-old man named Wallace Weatherhold from Florida had his hand bitten off by an alligator and he was charged with illegally feeding the animal. Fact 68. Jackie Chan's son will receive none of his $130 million fortune, as he's quoted saying, "If he's capable, he can make his own money. If he's not, then he'll just be wasting my money." Fact 69. Bruce Lee could perform one-handed push-ups using only his index finger and thumb. He was also known for his famous one-inch punch, where he was capable of knocking back an opponent from a distance of just 1 inch. Fact 70. In 2013, Vietnam unveiled a steel bridge that's shaped like a dragon that literally shoots fire out of its mouth. It's called the Dragon Bridge. Fact 71. Manel Torres, a Spanish fashion designer, invented the world's first spray-on clothing which can be worn, washed and worn again. Fact 72. In 1983, Marvel published a comic called Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Ham. He was a spider pig named Peter Porker. Fact 73. Bed bugs survive longer in beds that are made, so scientists actually suggest that you leave your bed unmade once in a while, as it ends up being healthier for you. Fact 74. The British submarine HMS Trident had a fully grown reindeer on board as a pet for 6 weeks during World War II. Fact 75. Democracy was invented in Greece 2,500 years ago. Fact 76. Romans used urine to clean and whiten their teeth. They were actually onto something, as urine contains ammonia, which has a cleaning substance that results in clearing out everything. Fact 77. There is a city called Rome in each continent. Fact 78. The driest place on Earth is Antarctica, where some parts haven't seen precipitation for years. Fact 79. There are 0 rivers in Saudi Arabia. Fact 80. There's a movie from 2010 called Rubber about a murderous car tire named Robert that rolls around killing people and blowing things up. Fact 81. There's an alarm clock named Clocky that has wheels and runs away and hides if you don't get out of bed on time. Fact 82. You can make your own Gatorade at home by simply adding salt to some Kool-Aid. It's not the exact recipe, but it's got just as many electrolytes. Fact 83. On Good Friday in 1930, the BBC announced there is no news, followed by piano music. Fact 84. Volvo invented the 3-point seatbelt, but opened up the patent to any car manufacturer who wanted to use it, as they felt it had more value as a life-saving tool than something to profit from. Fact 85. The most successful interrogator of World War II was Hans Scharf, who instead of using torture would befriend the prisoner. He would gain their trust by taking them to a cinema on camp and sharing a coffee or tea with them. Fact 86. In the Curve Gallery at the Barbican Centre in London, there's something called the Rain Room, where through the use of sensors, rain falls everywhere in the room except for where you're walking. Fact 87. At the Crocosaurus Cove Aquarium in Australia, studios that turns children's drawings into stuffed animals. Fact 89. All humans have lines on our bodies called Blaschko's lines, which can only be seen under certain conditions such as UV light. Fact 90. At the end of the 1990s, BMW actually had to recall their GPS systems because male German drivers didn't want to take directions from a female driver. Fact 91. In 2010, a black Nigerian couple living in the UK gave birth to a blonde white baby with blue eyes that they called the Miracle Baby. Fact 92. The dot over the J or I is called a tittle. Fact 93. Atelophobia is the fear of not being good enough or having imperfections. Fact 94. The letter U was first used as a substitute for the word you by William Shakespeare in his comedy Love's Labour's Lost around 1595. Fact 95. The actor who plays Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, once saved a plane from crashing after the pilot passed out, despite never having piloted a plane before. Fact 96. In the summer of 1932, while sitting in a restaurant, Adolf Hitler designed the prototype for what would become the first Volkswagen Beetle. Fact 97. In March 2013, a man got a tattoo of the word Netflix on his side, for which, after tweeting a picture of it to the company, gave him a free year of service. Fact 98. In order to drink, giraffes have to spread their almost 6.5 feet long legs apart just to get close enough to the water. A software company called PC Pitstop once hid a $1,000 prize in their terms of service just to see if anyone would read it. After 5 months and 3,000 sales later, someone finally did. Fact 120. Crying is actually very healthy for you. It helps emotionally, lubricates your eyes, removes toxins and irritants, and reduces stress. Fact 121. In the US, April 2nd is National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. Fact 122. There is a Russian published novel called The Last Ring Bearer, which retells the Lord of the Rings from the perspective of Sauron. Fact 123. If you rearrange the first letters of the main characters' names in the movie Inception, Tom, Robert, Ames, Arthur, Mal, Sato, they spell dreams. Fact 124. Vern Troyer, the actor who plays Mini-Me in the Austin Powers movies, has to do all of his own stunts because at 2.7 feet tall, there's no stunt double his size that can fill in for him. Fact 125. In 2006, a rare grizzly bear and polar bear hybrid species was confirmed in Canada, called Bisley bears or growler bears. Global warming is causing polar bears' habitats to melt, so they find shelter elsewhere and end up mating with grizzlies. Fact 126. In 1993, a Chinese man named Hu Songwen was diagnosed with kidney failure. In 1999, after no longer being able to afford the hospital bills, he built his own dialysis machine, which kept him alive for another 13 years. Fact 127. When he was a freshman in 1987, a man named Mike Hayes got a friend who works at the Chicago Tribune to write him an article asking the millions who read it to donate 1 penny each towards his tuition. Immediately, pennies, nickels, and even larger donations came pouring in from all over the world. After accumulating the equivalent of 2.9 million pennies, he graduated and paid for his degree in food science. Fact 128. After being eliminated from the show Hell's Kitchen, the contestants are immediately taken to get psychiatric evaluations and then to a house where they are pampered with back rubs, haircuts, and manicures. This is because the experience on the show is so draining that the producers don't want the eliminated contestants to kill themselves or someone else. Fact 129. The King of Thailand was actually born in Cambridge, Massachusetts in the United States in 1927. When he was born, the hospital room that he was delivered in was briefly declared Thai territory, so he could be born on Thai soil. Fact 130. Switzerland has enough nuclear shelters to accommodate 114% of its population. It's a legal requirement for the Swiss to have a protected place that can be reached quickly from their place of residence. Fact 131. A study conducted by Loma Linda University in 2010 concluded that laughter not only reduces stress, but increases the production of antibodies and kills the activity of tumour cells. Fact 132. There's a chimpanzee in a Russian zoo named Zora that became addicted to booze and smoking after too many visitors began giving him alcoholic treats and cigarettes. In 2001, the chimp actually had to be sent to rehab to be treated for his addictions. Fact 133. Ioannis Ikonomou, the chief translator in the European Commission, can speak 32 different languages. His native language is Greek, and he's the only in-house translator in the European Commission who's trusted to translate classified Chinese documents. Fact 134. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln grew his famous beard because he got a letter from an 11-year-old girl named Grace Patel who said that all ladies liked the whiskers and they would convince their husbands to vote for him for president. Fact 135. In 2013, Sean Conway became the first man ever to swim the entire length of Great Britain. The 900-mile trek took him their thoughts, mental images, and dreams. Fact 137. Experts believe that New York is home to as many as 800 languages, making it the most linguistically diverse city in the world. Fact 138. The red mushrooms featured in Nintendo's Mario games are based on a real species of fungi called Amanita muscaria. They're known for their hallucinogenic properties and can distort the size of perceived objects. This is also the same mushroom that is referenced in Alice in Wonderland. Fact 139. In 2013, France banned child beauty pageants because they promote the hypersexualizations of minors. Anyone who organises such a pageant could face jail time for up to 2 years and a fine of up to €30,000. Fact 140. Before he was Iron Man, actor Robert Downey Jr. was a notorious drug addict. He credits his sobriety to the fast food chain Burger King. In an interview with Empire magazine, he revealed that in 2003 he was driving a car full of drugs when he ordered a burger from Burger King that was so disgusting that he felt compelled to pull over, get out, and dump all of his drugs into the ocean. Fact 141. During World War II, prisoners in Canadian war camps were so well treated that they were given games and entertainment like soccer tournaments and musical groups. When the war ended, many of them didn't want to leave Canada. Fact 142. The rules of most airlines require that the pilot and co-pilot of a plane eat different meals. This is just in case one of the meals causes food poisoning. Fact 143. In 1938, Walt Disney was awarded an honorary Oscar for Snow White. The statuette that he received came with 7 mini statuettes on a stepped base. Fact 144. In 2014, Budapest broke the world record for the tallest Lego tower ever built. Made of 450,000 colourful bricks topped with a large Hungarian Rubik's Cube, the structure stands at 114 feet tall in front of St. Stephen's Basilica. Fact 145. In 2013, Google sent a lone employee to an abandoned Japanese island called Kunkjima to map it for Google Street View. The island was once the most densely populated island in the world, but is now